Hi, everybody. This is Audrey Moore with the Audrey Helps Actors podcast, and this is episode 130. Feeling flirty. Feeling flirty about the future? I hope so. Are you flirting with things working out? Are you flirting with it? Are you flirting with some optimism? If not, hopefully this episode gives it to you. We're going to flirt with some optimism and passion for you. Today we have a listener question episode with Liz Ho. Elizabeth is a badass actress slash influencer slash crocheter slash dog mom. You may know her from her series regular role on Disjointed, NCIS, All Rise, just like so many other credits. Has she been working large roles consistently since she graduated from college? She sure has. She and I answer questions about casting changes. You know, you grow up, you change. It changes your casting. Agent commissions, a lot of questions about agent commissions, and self-tape strategy for growth. Woo-hoo! Okay, last week of self-tape May. I see you all. I see you with 3 tapes done, and I'm here for it. Just try to get a couple more done. Just try to get a couple more done. Just try to get just like a couple, or maybe finish, or maybe do 40 more tapes. Whatever you want to do would be awesome. Give me those hearts. Give me those rom-coms, and get on down to selftapemade.net to make sure you are registered for the prize package. Sign up now for free. Free, my favorite price, free. Selftapemade.com to be eligible for the random prize drawing of an amazing prize package, including a year of Casting Network's premium membership, a session with acting coach Jeff Pride, a self-tape backdrop, and a 1-year subscription to Scene Partner, a Bluetooth controller, and a 1-year subscription to Slateable, Amy Linden's Saturday Intensive, and 3 free on-camera classes from the Online Actor Studio, and you'll get to be on the podcast. Pew, pew, pew. Wow. Pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Sign up now for free at selftapemade.com. But do you know what? It's okay if you don't finish all 16 tapes. Do you know why? Because this season's theme is grace. Not like be graceful like a ballerina. That's a high standard. I'm not here for, we don't need that. But graceful in your heart. Give your heart some grace. Give others grace. I'm here for it. You're here for it. We're gonna be nice to each other and ourselves. Reviews. Well, we didn't get 0 reviews this week. We got 1. Thank you to Joe Egan. Joe! Hey, Joe. Thank you so much, Joe Egan, the only listener who loves us. The only one. No, I don't want to guilt you guys. I want to encourage and inspire. Your reviews make me feel like somebody just knocked on the door and said, Audrey, your dad and brother are actually alive. And I was like, oh my God, my dad, whom I haven't seen since I was 22 because he's dead, is actually alive. And his son, my elder brother, who I haven't seen since I was 34 because he also died, they're alive? Words can't express the stun, shock, joy, relief. That's just some, that's some Shakespearean shit right there. That's how your reviews make me feel. Daddy, brother. So please take 10 seconds and go to ratethispodcast.com/Audrey. I miss you, Dad. This week's podcast is brought to you by Casting Networks. Go to castingnetworks.com/Audrey. Get $65 off a Casting Networks premium annual membership with promo code Audrey65. All right. I hope you're on your way to an audition, and I hope you book it.
Audrey helps actors because they don't know anything.
Hi, everybody. I'm Audrey. I'm so excited. Hi. I'm Audrey Moore with the Audrey Helps Actors podcast, and today we have back with us...
It's Liz Ho.
Lizzie. Hey, girl.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. I hate it when people call me Lizzie.
I know this to be true because I called you Lizzie earlier about 20 minutes ago, and your reaction was a little like this. Like you got a little zap. Welcome.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me back on. I love y'all so much.
Our listener question episodes are, I think at this point, maybe legend. Is that too far? Is legendary?
No, I like it. It's legendary.
We're going to do some listener questions.
I
Should we
love
just
them.
Dive in?
Yeah.
Let's see.
You have such great listeners.
We do have the best listeners, I think.
Hey, Audrey. My name is Minda. I'm a union actor based in Los Angeles, and I had a question about booking out. Recently, I listened to Elizabeth Ho's episode, and she said she's never regretted, like, a vacation that she's taken.
Never.
And I got feedback from my rep last year that one of the things that I could do to benefit my career is to book out less.
Girl, what are you doing?
For example, like, if I go on vacation, not to book out.
Oh, fascinating.
And I've heard also on like other podcasts about John Hamm talking about like, oh, I had to miss a wedding for this TV show that I was shooting. I don't necessarily want that to be my life. And I would love to like break down the reality of how much booking out does affect my career. If production companies really are not going to book you at all, or if it will really like impact my ability to work for the next few months if I book out for like 2 days for a wedding. Thank you so much for your podcast. I love listening. Thanks. Bye.
Okay, so let's talk about booking out. You take vacations.
I do.
Love them. So tell me about handling booking out. I personally find it's more complicated for commercials because if you're in a place where you're booking shows or larger parts, you're auditioning for it, but then it's like filming in 3 months or filming in 3 weeks. So you have some time to sort of, if you have something planned, try to work around it. Mm-hmm. Also, the larger your role gets, often production is more willing to work with something like a wedding. They'll say, okay, but her sister's getting married that weekend, so we will need her on a plane on this day. Mm-hmm. I find those size roles, it's easier to sort of work around. But for the smaller roles, co-stars, maybe one-day guest stars, top of show, if we're talking about network, then they don't care about what you have planned. They need it cast. The train is moving with or without you. Mm-hmm. Do you want to be on this train or do you want to go to a wedding? So tell me your experience and we'll see if we have the same one.
We've been thinking a lot about this. The relationship you have with your team is really important. So if your team is saying for you to not book out as much, makes me wonder, how much are you booking out? I want to be really clear that I've never regretted a vacation, but a lot of that is also planned very purposefully at very dead times traditionally in the industry. Mm-hmm. Also, part of it for me is mental health. When I am on vacation, I do not want to think about scrambling to get sides memorized and then put a camera up and get the lighting done and all that sort of stuff. But my team also knows that if there is a role out there that's really important for me and I'd be really upset if we lost it or like something really big, they will disrupt the vacation for this. Mm-hmm. They know that. And we have that kind of understanding and working relationship. Mm-hmm. In terms of like one-day guests, commercials, that sort of thing, that is really up to you in where you are in your career, what feels right for you. Mm-hmm. For me and my anxiety, I have to book out stuff. Big vacations, I'll book out, right? But like, I'm going to go visit my dad. Not a big deal. I won't book out.
Northern California.
Right. But let's say I'm going to help a friend who just had a baby. I do not want to be doing auditions. That is time that I have set aside for them. And that is more important to me than a commercial or guest star role, which may be detrimental to my career. Mm-hmm. I'm okay with that.
Right.
And so I feel like you have to talk with your team about what your expectations are and where you are in your career and what you're willing to feel comfortable doing. Mm-hmm. If you're willing to miss a wedding, then like by all means, don't book out, you know? But if it's like your sister's wedding and I do not agree with John Hamm about the missing a wedding part if it was like a close friend or family member. Yeah. That is something you can't get back, period, in my experience. Yeah. But if it's like a friend of a friend or like a friend, but they understand your lifestyle, they get it, then I would say don't book out. Yeah. But it feels to me like it's a thought tree that has to happen for you and you understanding where you are in your career and what you want out of it.
Yeah, I think what you said is really important, that the question is, if your rep is telling you book out less, then that is information that probably needs more investigation. Is your rep telling you need to book out less because you're booking out so much? Is it because maybe you take off during a certain season? Perhaps you have a day job where X amount of days in the month you need to be available for the day job only, and you cannot then sneak away and do a audition, or more importantly, be able to then book something and shoot something, because it would be in direct conflict.
I think you're absolutely right in the idea of like investigation. It just sounds like a deeper discussion.
Yeah. And I would say for those of you who are like, but then I have to talk to my rep. Okay. So I encourage you to have a conversation with them and just say, hey, I would love to hop on a call. I always say like 5 minutes, we can time it. Like, just so that you are showing that you are conscientious of their time. If that's something that you're worried about, if you're like, I just don't want to be a bother, then just tell them, I won't be too much of a bother. And say, I would just love to have a 5-minute call. We talk about booking out and what I'm doing that you feel like is maybe not helping us with opportunities gained for me to then seal more bookings for you.
Yeah. And ultimately, like what we discussed, it's more nuanced. I wish it could be a easy, like,
book out lots or none. What do I do? Yeah.
You can book out this time at this place. And
only these 3 days. Okay, ready? Or we're going to do celebrating.
Okay.
Hi, Audrey. This is Sarah calling from Chicago. I'm calling because I booked my first co-star role, and
Way to go,
it
Sarah!
airs tonight on a major network. And your podcast has been a huge part of me getting here, so I'm calling to say thank you. I'm not exactly a second act actor, but it kind of feels like that. I came from an opera and musical theater background,
So
but
cool.
I started restructuring my career, actually, my life, about 4 years ago. So today feels like a really important milestone. But this milestone is also why I'm really grateful for your podcast. You have helped me get my shit together, understand my market and how I fit in it. I'm becoming more specific in my casting. So much has come from listening. After booking this co-star, my very sweet and supportive husband even asked with utmost sincerity if he needs to be prepared for us to now move to LA. And I laughed and reminded him that Chicago is my intentional market and that booking this one co-star is awesome, but no, that's not what I'm going to ask him to do. And I mention that because thanks to the show and your awesome guests, I also have so much more calm and clarity on how bookings fit into building relationships and building my career. And I'm just so grateful because it makes me feel really grounded, even as I get excited at hopefully watching my network debut tonight. We'll see if they cut the scene. Hopefully not. Anyway, thank you so much. Thank you for all you do for our community. And I am so looking forward to the next season of Audrey Helps Actors. Thanks. Bye.
Sarah, from
Congratulations.
Chicago. I'm so proud of you.
I'm so thrilled. I know getting your first co-star is such a big deal. For me, I was so devastated. I was like, I'm such a failure. I haven't got my first co-star. And my manager at the time was like, first one's the hardest. And now,
So
if you're
true.
Liz, your first job is a series. So it's different.
That's not
for
true. I was thinking
some-
about this. I think my first job was a soap.
Oh, great. Was it an under 5?
I can't
Okay, great.
remember.
She's like, my first job was a contract role on Days
No,
of Our
absolutely
Lives,
not.
but
I can't. And kudos to soaps. I can't do that work. It's so hard.
It's very hard.
It's
Yeah.
so hard. It's
It's
insane.
like 23 pages a day.
Yeah, and you get one two
One take.
takes. That's it.
Yeah.
Good luck.
All those monologues. Good luck. Yeah. Props out to all of the soap actors out there. They're doing really hard work. And there's a reason why so many of them then go on to be hugely famous, in addition to being gorgeous.
I was just going to because they're like stunning.
They're stunning, but also it's such a great training ground.
Yeah.
Okay, so congratulations, Sarah. That's really lovely to get this message from you. And I'm thrilled that you have made the transition from opera and musical theater to things that I love and on the way to more television. And just know that if you did get cut, because it happens, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because when you book something and then they cut you, often you'll get paid for that day of shooting, and then casting will be itching to get you back in for another role, sometimes better and bigger role, because they feel bad that you got cut. And so you get paid for that shoot, and you'll get paid for another day of shoot, plus hopefully feel more comfortable, feel more calm because you've done it already, and get just a little bit more money and a little bit more of a role.
I love that your husband also was like packing the house.
Yes!
Like put the dogs in the car. It was like beep, beep, LA.
Here we are. Okay, ready?
Hey, Audrey, it's Eliza in Los Angeles from the food bank. And a friend of mine brought up this question and we thought you would know. When it comes to paying commission on residuals, there are people who say pay 10% on everything forever and ever. And then there are people who have said if it's under $100, you don't have to pay them. And then there is someone who said, oh, you only pay residuals for the first cycle, and then you don't pay residuals after that. So could you shed some light on this? That would be great. All right. Thanks for everything, of course. Bye.
I'm going to tell you what I do. First of all, I believe in paying people. One of my personal value sets is that people should get paid for their work. And I want people to pay me for my work. Mm-hmm. And because I want people to pay me for my work, I also believe that then I should pay people for their work. 2, everyone benefits when you pay your reps consistently, in that I believe that your representation knows who is continuing to pay on residual income versus who is not. And if I were a rep, I might favor the actor who paid residual income in terms of my pitches and my interest in them getting more jobs. Now, if I leave a rep, I'm mostly not sending that person residuals if I've left them. I also do it because residuals are the thing that help actors stay alive through hard times and booking seasons. And our representation is not immune to those same hard times. And just like I'm so grateful to them that in the times when I'm not getting as many bookings, that they're still passionate about me, they're still giving me auditions, they're still pitching me, I want to also let them know that I'm so grateful and also continue to pay them for their services in my slow times, because I want to say thank you for doing this work for me, even though I'm not currently booking, because I'm thinking long term. Commercials, I don't get my commercials sent to me through residuals. That's not how commercial residuals work. They go directly to your representation, unless you ask otherwise, which if you do, great. I don't. I trust my representation, luckily, and my residuals go directly to my reps, and then they cut me a check. That is not a negotiable thing. That's, I believe, very clear per union guidelines. You get paid for commercials, and then your representation is counting on the residuals as the payment, because commercially you might work one day and then you get 20 grand in 3 months. And then that's it. Then the 20 grand, then it's done. Then it's not going to air again. So they're counting on your payment for that entire commercial package, including residuals. So let's talk about television. Okay, so I called SAG-AFTRA and spoke to the residuals department and to the agency department to try to get some clarity on SAG-AFTRA's official position on this. And I want you to know they do have many official positions on this, depending on the contract that the project has signed with SAG-AFTRA. Not the contract you sign with your rep, but the contract that the project has signed with SAG-AFTRA, and then how it airs, and then where it goes. Needless to say, it's a lot. Even if I did a whole podcast on it, I'm quite confident you would have your head spinning. So I have a solution for you, which is agency@sagaftra.org. That's agency@sagaftra.org. If you have specific questions to specific projects and your residuals that you want to pay to your representation, agency@sagaftra.org. This is particular for theatrical contracts, okay? So all theatrical contracts, agency@sagaftra.org, and they will answer any specific questions you might have with regards to your commissions and what is owed as agreed to upon with SAG-AFTRA, the agencies, and also the show and the contract the show has signed with SAG-AFTRA. In terms of like the checks that get to be like $50, $7.39, I have a few hacks. So I actually do either quarterly or biannually payments. So I go through my residual tracker that's on my SAG-AFTRA app when I log in, and I can funnel certain jobs. So I know which ones to look for based off this rep and the ones that they have booked me. And I just calculate it every quarter. So when April rolls around, I take a look, and if I made $5,000 on residuals from a number of different jobs, then I write a check to my representation for $500 for those residuals. Ta-la!
That was great.
Okay, good.
I love that idea about looking it up on the tracker and being able to funnel.
It just makes the math so much easier because who's got time for all that shit? And so you can do it one of two ways. You can do it on the tracker on your SAG-AFTRA app, or you can go through SAG-AFTRA Pension and Health website. If you are a union member and you haven't created your SAG-AFTRA Pension and Health login, please Google SAG-AFTRA Pension and Health login, create your login, and you can watch for residuals to come on their way. It's a fun little game you'll play called Am I Going to Get Money Soon? And you check the website maybe too many times.
Hi, Audrey. My name is Jackson. That is my real name. By the way, I'm not using a fake name. Or am I? I am an actor based here in Los Angeles. I have a dilemma. So I'm early in my career. I am in my 20s. I typically play younger because I have a wonderful baby face.
Love that for you.
A lot of my success can be attributed to that baby face, as well as my talent, hopefully. But recently, I've been starting to gain some momentum, and I booked a couple national commercials. I have joined unions. Things are flowing, and we've been working on this for years, of course. But as all this success comes, I have found that I also have another problem. I am taking a medication, and it has caused a surprising reaction. I am losing my hair, or my hair quality is rapidly degrading. My dermatologist has basically told me that there's not much I can do except be on the medication that I'm on and just hope for the best. And I might be forced to shave or go make a radical change hair-wise. So my question is for you, how do I go about this radical change in my casting, in everything? I'm used to playing young high school, college-aged boys, and if I shave my head or go bald, even with my baby face, that might not be possible, and I have a fear of not only halting the success that I've built these past many years in that momentum, but also letting my reps down. Any advice or just a confidence boost or optimism would be very much appreciated. Thank you so much, Audrey.
Oh, Jackson, this is such a great question because, we are not talking enough about men and men's hair.
Oh my God, it's
anywhere.
Such a big deal.
Huge deal. And I first want to start by saying I know that it's a big deal, and I'm sorry that you have had this reaction. And also, every single trailer I'm in, every person has hair on. I am shook by the amount of hair that everyone is wearing. It is hairstand after hairstand after hairstand. So the good news is that's super normal. And also you're in a town where if you are looking to have a hair solution, it's here. It is super normal. And it is such a shame that women wearing hair pieces, wearing hair clips, wearing hair extensions is normal and applauded. And men doing the same is
stigmatized. So stigmatized.
So silly. So Liz, what do you got?
I mean, Jackson, my little heart. Yeah. I think the universal experience is everyone does get older and your casting will change. And in a culture where we favor youth, and especially if that's been your success with casting, it is very scary to think about change in that regard. And you are really young and there's no reason you can't continue to play that a younger age range for a little bit longer. But all of this is to say, like, what you're going through, everyone will go through. And it was really brave of you to call and bring it up. And what Audrey was saying hair-wise, there are options for you if you want to, if you're worried about the way your hair looks, to get support. It's also a conversation to have with your reps. And I guarantee, like, if you're with the right people, they will not be mad that you are taking care of yourself and putting your health first. They will want that for you. And then they'll want to problem solve with you.
Yeah, and I recommend if you're going to try maybe a piece, I just want you to know there's so much available. A lot of men start to lose their hair in that back upper part of their head and then also in their front hairline. And there are pieces that are literally just that big. So there are pieces that you can get for just the back if you want to just cover the back. Or if you feel everything is working out, but your hairline is receding or even getting thinner, there is pieces that you put and you just wear it up front. And it's maybe 2 inches and curves around. And you can just get it cut and blend it into your hair. And what's really cool is then you can start to get into the creativity of it as well. So if you want one that's a little longer for some roles and you want one that's a little shorter for other roles, or maybe for another role, you just don't wear any of it. And that is what is happening on sets. Another possibility, if your hair is just thinning, oftentimes people will get, it's like a filling spray. So you get it at
Topics?
Yeah. So you get it at Nigel's Beauty Emporium. You can get it online. But if you're in Los Angeles, I recommend going to Nigel's and they'll really help you out in terms of what specifically you're looking for. But it's kind of like a filament almost.
Like a fiber.
Yeah, like a fiber. And I'm sure it's super healthy for you to breathe in. And you just spray it on your hair and it gives a sense of fullness. And so a lot of men, as they're transitioning from maybe thicker hair to less, they'll use that for certain auditions where they want to look like they have fuller hair.
I also have friends who have done the transplant.
Great.
And that's been successful for them.
Yeah.
It may not be a possibility for you depending on your medication and what your doctor says would be best for you. But it's exciting that there are so many options.
And also, it's absolutely okay for you to change your casting. And if you're thinking about experimenting with a shaved head as an option, one thing you can also do is go to a makeup artist and pay them to give you a cap. And they'll put a cap on. It'll last a day. And you can do some of your auditions, take some tapes where you've already taped yourself with the hair that you have, and then retape them with a cap on and just see what's your casting without hair? Because what if it's awesome?
That's exciting.
It is exciting. And I know men who've done it and have started working a ton once they shave their head because unbeknownst to them, it was like this hidden secret gem.
Like Jason Statham?
Jason Statham, yeah.
That's his whole vibe.
It's his only vibe.
Now, granted, he will not be able to play high school.
Well, I wouldn't say never. Jason can play whatever Jason wants to play. That's the magic of Jason. Jason, if you want to be in 21 Jump Street, the new iteration, I'm really here for it.
I love this. Let's pitch it.
But wait, Liz. That little smushy face in Northern California. You're so great. Wait. I have to interrupt you.
Help me. I need some help.
And now it's time for listener questions.
I'm so scared.
This listener question is brought to you by Casting Networks. Casting Networks. Obviously, they are the platform with more high-quality roles that are booked than any other casting service. And obviously, it's currently used by thousands of the world's most prolific casting directors. Obviously, we all know that. But did you know about the iOS app? Ooh, say that again. iOS app. The Casting Network's iOS app. To gain access to exclusive features designed to help you find your next role on the go, access your profile, headshots, reels, view and submit to roles, and get alerted to media requests. Download Casting Networks from the App Store today and start creating reels on the go. Listeners can use our exclusive podcast promo code Audrey65 to take $65 off an annual premium membership. Go to castingnetworks.com/Audrey, promo code Audrey65. Save $65 and send me a picture of what you're going to use that's $65 for. That would be awesome.
Hey, Audrey. This is Jonah Kersey calling in from Los Angeles. I am beginning the daunting task of self-submitting to agencies, and I've gotten my pitch letter looking gorgeous, but I have no idea to write in the subject line. So I was hoping you'd give me some advice on what to write. I don't want it to sound too desperate. Seeking representation is too vague, but I don't want to just pack it with information about myself. So any advice would be super appreciated. Thank you so much.
Well, hey, honey, I love this question. This is a hard one to say without knowing who you are. But we all have things about ourselves that make us uniquely special and a valuable pitch. And you want to do whatever gets them to open the email. You want them to open it. However, don't be a creeper. Don't be creepy. But some things that you could do are, working union actor seeking representation. That lets them know that you are a working B union. You can tell them some other things about you that might be valuable. It's often great to lead with special skills. So bilingual French, English actor seeking representation. Some people, their age range might be a particular advantage. So 18 to play younger, TPY. So you want to just have the header be something that makes them open it up. And that should be the thing that you think is going to have people most interested in you. I was on Broadway, just moved to LA. All right. Adore you.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Hi, Audrey. This is Joe from Portland, Oregon. I just booked a small film, a short film that I'm super excited about, but I actually booked it through a relationship that I have with a casting director instead of through my agent. So I've worked with this casting director in the past, and in the past they would just send me the check once we're finished with the project. And I really am working on building relationships, and I really want to make sure that I'm bringing my rep in on my set. And I've heard you talk a few times about paying your reps, and I just really want to do that this time. So I'm wondering, how do I do that? Do I tell the casting director when she asks for where to mail the check to give her the address of my agent? Or do I tell my agent? Or I just want to know how I go about doing this in a way that is kind and professional. That's all. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for everything you do on this podcast. You are truly a saint. I know Jesse says we shouldn't say that, but you are. Anyways, thanks. Bye.
So we're calling you Saint Audrey from this point forward.
God, it really is troubling. Thank you, sweet Joe. Joe
from Portland.
Thank
Congratulations!
You. Yeah, congratulations!
That's so awesome!
Yay! Booking from direct call-in.
We love it.
Wonderful. And also, I'm so proud of you for hearing me when I say, please pay your representation. It is going to be beneficial for your relationship building with that rep. Okay, how to get your rep the money. For me, I would have the check sent to me, and here's why. The more opportunities I get to have a conversation with my rep, I want to take, particularly if it's about booking jobs. So if I booked a job, I got paid, and I'm going to pay my rep out, I'm going to get the check sent to me, I'm going to write a commission check, and then I will email the rep and say, hey, booked this job, I want to send you your commission. Here's a copy, so you can take a photo of what you got paid and the breakdown of why you got paid that. Here's a copy of my payment, and I'm sending a commission check today. And if you don't get it in a week, let me know. That way you're encouraging some sort of reciprocal response. Congratulations. Oh, that's awesome. Tell me more about the project, any of that. And then when they get the check, you're going to have another reason to check in with them and say, hey, just wanted to make sure that you received the check and that all is super duper gravy trooper.
That's a saying. You're right.
Super duper gravy trooper, everybody. And that allows you another opportunity to communicate. Now, I don't necessarily expect communication back, but communication that I'm sending you money is generally worthy of reciprocal communication. And so I think that's the technique I would use. What about you, Liz?
I would get my team in earlier on.
Great.
So if I had booked it, I would then be like, awesome, thank you. And I would tell them to contact my people and let my people know. Because part of it also is I want my team, if there's contracts involved, to look them over and make sure everything is safe and that I am being protected. That's why I'm paying them.
Yes.
If it's already done, though, do it Audrey's way. But, for future reference, I think that would be another way to do it.
I think that is absolutely right. The reason to cut them in advance is exactly what you're saying. Protections, 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 protections. Tell everybody a little bit about what they might be being protected from.
The biggest thing for me, if it was non-union, I would definitely want my reps in on it just to make sure that you're getting paid, that your hours aren't crazy, that they're not like cutting you out of anything.
Great.
Safeties, all that sort of thing.
Yeah, to me, it's also if something happens on set that's starting to feel weird, unsafe, or shady, I can call my rep and say, hey, so I'm on set and I'm supposed to play nun number 3, but they're telling me that there's going to be a nudity scene today. Could you give me a call? If you've had the conversation with them in advance, then there's going to be more precedence for you to call them mid-job and say something's weird. It also
makes it less weird for you. So you're not on set being like, hey, guys, this is weird, right? It gives you that kind of like step back.
Yeah.
So that you can be like, oh, it was my team. I'm sorry. They were so weird. I don't know what's going on. I'm just team play, so that way your relationship on set isn't necessarily disturbed.
Absolutely.
Joe, I'm so proud of you.
Joe, congratulations. Get your agent involved.
I love when we're both right.
It is. Hey.
Hi, Audrey. This is Nikki Belos calling in from Los Angeles. I am a Arab American actor. I've had like 4 co-stars on my resume. I've been able to book some things, which I'm very grateful for, but I am feeling very frustrated and with the business because I'm only getting called in for characters with Arab names, and there's not a lot of characters with Arab names to begin with. I think my booking and my callback ratio is great, but where I'm falling into some issues is actually getting called in. And for casting directors to have that imagination to see me as something other than just, oh, that's the Arab American co-star dude that we can have on our show. So I'll have like 248 submissions that I'll see from my submission report, and it will say that I had 6 auditions from that. And I'll book 1 out of 6. Like, that's the thing, is I do think that the work is good. The opportunity isn't there. So I just wanted to see, like, if you had any insights about my materials. I get new headshots thinking, oh, maybe this will change their perspective, and it rarely does. And my rep, I don't think, has the means to sort of like push me in the room. It's sort of just what the casting directors are seeing. So I don't know if you have any insight to that or if it's going to be helpful for anybody else that feels this way. But yeah, I'm just feeling caught like in a limbo space right now and would appreciate your insight. Thank you.
Yeah, that's so hard. I'm so sorry, Nikki. Like, I hear the frustration in the voicemail, and it's so, so real. And I can only imagine being a brown man, brown or black man, being pigeonholed into that kind of stereotype must be really, really hard. I have a friend who honestly couldn't tolerate it. He is British, and he moved back to the UK and now is doing much more diverse roles because he just couldn't honestly handle the racism.
Yeah.
That truly was what it was. So my heart goes out to you in that regard. I can only speak from my own experience, and it's communication with your reps. And you kind of nailed it when you said that you don't feel like your reps have the pull with casting. And unfortunately, that is going to be the biggest thing that's going to make a difference in you going out for roles that aren't as stereotypical as it sounds like you are getting submitted for and booking. So it might be time to level up. Representative wise, it sounds like you have a pretty strong resume in terms of co-stars, and it may be worth, putting yourself on tape and trying self-tape May to kind of show the range you can do so that when you are submitting to other agents or managers who have maybe a stronger pull with casting or producers, that you can show that range. And it's not just looking at this resume, but you do have that evidence visually.
Yeah, that's a fantastic idea. One thing I always recommend for people when they're trying to expand their casting either into larger roles or different types of roles, or maybe even into a different genre that you feel like you're not auditioning as much in, is to give them evidence. And one thing that evidence is just your self-tapes. And it can be stuff that's already aired in roles that you feel like, I could do this right now, and hopefully give them something to pitch you with. Another thing you might want to do is start bypassing your representation as your means to getting auditions, which means building relationships on your own aside from what your reps are getting you. So you can do casting director workshops. Many casting directors offer classes. Many casting directors also offer private coaching. Many casting directors are also working with a group of casting directors, so you can see more than one. And I do want to say, I do hear from my friends in casting that they're interested in presenting creative options. So options A that maybe aren't racist, and also options for roles that maybe weren't seeking a certain category, and having that on tape to show their producers and their creative team. So if you start building those relationships, you might get an audition request for something really great. And I think that's a good alt route as well.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Hi, Audrey. This is Greg Hudson from New York. And I was calling because as someone who's SAG and has a reel, but working toward getting my first TV credit, how useful do you think it is to self-submit on Actors Access to SAG, ultra-low budget, and modified low-budget films? Because right now I submit to like everything I'm possibly right for, and there's a lot of those on Actors Access, and I'm very lucky to get like 3 auditions a week from them. But they are a lot of pages, and it takes a lot of work to turn around great tapes. So I just want to get your take on whether you think this is a useful investment of time, energy, and money, or if they're not really going to help me get to my goal, which is booking that first TV credit. On the one hand, I'm thinking, I really should be in the practice of turning around that many auditions a week or more, really. But at the same time, I don't know if a lot of those projects would really be recognizable to the casting directors. And I'm already SAG and I've already got a reel, so I wouldn't be doing it for those reasons. Anyway, I'd love your help. Thank you so much. I love the podcast and everything you do. Thanks.
I mean, everything I do.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
I love watching you poop. Keep that in, guys. That's gold.
Liz, what are your thoughts?
Greg, hi from New York.
Hi.
It sounds like you got a lot on your plate. It reminds me, your question made me think of a post Audrey did very recently on her page about time management.
Tell them about it.
It looked like you made a little math formula.
Sure did.
And it was like day job plus acting plus, and then you listed like 20,000 things that we do as human beings. Mm-hmm. Take out the trash, talk to your parents,
grocery shop,
go to sleep, try not to cry as much, like all those things. And that equals burnout.
Yes.
And I think that's what I'm kind of getting to here, which it sounds like you're kind of almost at burnout if you are resenting submitting all this much. And I know Audrey has very strong opinions that are going to come out of her mouth in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I have very strong opinions about this. At a certain point, especially when you're union and you are trying to make that transition from lower hanging fruit, non-union, maybe it's a union.
We're not sure.
What is it?
Could be.
Right.
They're looking at
union
trying to
waiver,
make it.
possibly, right? Then I have a few things that I think would be so much better for you to be using your time doing other than that. I know that it feels good to get audition notices, and I know that it feels good to be selected to do the project. I know that that's really great for the ego. But what happens for growth and mastery is you have to understand that there are going to be phases where your ego's just going to be sad. And that's okay. That's part of the growth. And if your time isn't unlimited, if you have a day job, if you have a family, if you have anything that you are like, I only have X amount of hours to put towards the furthering of my acting career, then you need to be very specific with what you're doing with those hours. If you're taking a voice class because you want to strengthen your theater presence, but you actually don't want to be doing theater anymore, then I would say you're moving in the wrong direction. You're not putting your hours, your energy, and money where you want growth. If you want to be getting your first co-star, if you want to be turning that union card into some real momentum, then I highly recommend stop auditioning and taping and submitting for the projects that you want to move on from and start practicing, learning, and working on the material that you want to move on to. For many of us, there's just this transition time where you have to just keep saying no to certain kinds of things that you're trying to move on from. And it's hard because the thing you're moving on from, you have momentum in, and that feels exciting.
But it doesn't even sound like you want to do these self-tapes. And so if that's the case, I think the magical intersection of what we're both talking about is like finding something that you're really excited about and putting that on tape.
Yes. If you are in New York and you haven't been on any of the Dick Wolf shows, FBI, Law and Order, even the things shooting in Chicago, they auditioned for them out of a New York casting office, most of them, start watching those shows and start finding your roles and start practicing them, because if you wait until you need it, you're not going to have the time and you're going to be screwed. And here's another thing you can do. If you have a rep and you want to be going out for those roles, start taping them and then sending them to your representation and say, no need to respond. I'm working on stuff from Law and Order because I haven't been on it. And I know that's a great thing for everyone to get their first couple credits on. And so I've just been working on a bunch of characters and learning the show. And here's some of the characters I've done from the last season. I mean, if I were a rep, I'd be like, oh, great. And that might also give me another place as a rep to have another conversation with you of, I don't have this headshot for that kind of category. And this is really good on you, but I think you're a little too young for it still. Whatever the case may be, it just gives them more opportunity to see what you're doing and how they can help you.
Yeah. Also, like, you don't have to submit on self-submissions.
No,
You're good.
Please don't.
If it's making you this like sad,
yeah, don't.
It sounds like you already know how to audition and that you can memorize things and put them on tape. I don't know if that's a muscle that you need to beat to the ground,
Okay, good.
Hey, Audrey. My name is Ryan, longtime listener, first-time caller. I am in a precarious situation. So I have across-the-board reps in one market. I just signed theatrically in another market. But my representation in the market in which I live primarily dumped me this week. And
so rude.
the shape that a cinnamon roll makes? Like a spiral of sorts. Yeah, that's how I'm feeling right now, unfortunately. So I have done the thing where you kind of wallow in self-despair, maybe a little bit. I self-submitted to, just about every SAG franchise agent in my market and a bunch of management companies. And now I'm just waiting, and I'm just wondering, is there anything else I should be doing besides that? I'm in a class. I have the training. We actually went to the same school, Go Terriers, and I just feel very lost. It's a weird feeling to have been like, I will get an audition. It's up to my reps. They're submitting me, and now I don't have a rep in this market. So any advice you have or recommendations would be greatly appreciated. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Okay, Greg, my fellow terrier.
No, his name is Ryan.
Is it? Oh, well, the other one was Greg. Ryan.
What would you do without me? You would just
nothing.
Gone.
Horrible. Okay. Ryan, my fellow terrier, I am so sorry that this happened to you. This happens. And if it hasn't happened to you as an actor yet, you will still live in permanent fear that is about to. The fear of losing a rep never goes away.
He's always there.
It's always permanent. And I very much recommend diversifying your representation, which means people are like, do I need an agent and a manager? I say yes. And part of the reason is because things happen in people's lives. Your manager might get sick and then they had to take a year or several off. Maybe a rep has a baby, and in having a baby, they decide they don't have room for agenting and babying.
That's what happened to me.
It happens a lot, right? Also, maybe your rep gets Me Too'd. That happens to plenty of people I know. Yep. Also, maybe your rep goes to rehab. Also happens to plenty of people that I know.
Or an agency dies for voiceover. That happened for me.
Did it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so if you have an agent, ideally a team, which is great, so that within an agency you have 5 people who rep you, who know you. You have a manager. Ideally, your manager might have an assistant, which is great because almost always those assistants move up the ladder into their own place of representation. All of that can be helpful. So in the case where my agents had all quit that agency, and I have a manager that I've been with for quite some time, and so we strategized and got meetings for me, and I got new representation right away. I was very fortunate in that I was filming a show at the time, so
the timing was good.
So all to say, diversify, so that hopefully if one arm falls, another one can help you reach out to some qualified people to take meetings. Liz.
Well, Ryan, it sounds like you do have reps in other markets.
Yes.
So my problem-solving hat goes on to maybe talking with them if they have contacts where your main market is. Maybe they can give you that introduction. I also know that awful feeling of like submitting for everything and then like just waiting by your fucking phone and just having nothing happen. And that's really, really hard. Thinking back to my own experience, it's always been because of previous relationship and networking that I've been able to find new reps if that kind of stuff, unfortunately, life happens, like you said, or, you know, people get dropped. That's just also part of the life cycle of this industry that's really hard. But I think if we can all acknowledge that it's part of it, it makes it less like stigmatizing, you know?
Very good. Yeah. I can't tell you the resumes of people that I know who have been dropped. I mean, it would floor you.
I have a friend who was a series regular for years. Can't get rep right now. But what else can you do?
I know that agent showcases are still a thing. I can't speak to the validity of maybe the people attending them, but I do know it exists. Also, there's a place called Talent Link, which is a part of Actors Access. And Talent Link is great. I have tons of friends who've had lots of success on Talent Link.
I would also say maybe it's an opportunity for you to go into your secondary markets right now and really do a lot of work there.
Great point.
And then kind of like build up that resume or whatever that may look like so that you can come back with something maybe a little bit stronger that can get you the reps that you want.
Great. Love that. So we've been doing this season on grace. You going to give yourself grace right now? Are you giving yourself grace?
Yeah, my body.
Great.
Body. It's a wild time to be in a meat sack on a spinning planet in the middle of space. And so I've decided to find joy in movement recently, and I'm trying to do more dance, which is something that I had a very love-hate relationship growing up with, but now doing it for myself. And it's not perfect. It's not going to be great. But, you know, it's that grace, though, when you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're trying to move your hand in one way and your feet in another and I'm very grateful for the body that I have.
Great.
And I feel like coming off of a history of disordered eating and body image stuff that still is there, it never goes away, just like the volume's lower.
Yes.
It's that grace that I have recently been working on and having a lot of success and fun with, truly. What about you? Have you given yourself grace about anything recently?
I've been giving myself grace about relaxing. If I'm being honest, I'm kind of moved past the grace part into the enjoyment part, which has been really wonderful. Over the last almost year, I've been doing active recovery for workaholism. And turns out chilling out's pretty great. I'm reading now. I am able essentially to relax without feeling like a hot mess for relaxing.
You mean like guilt and shamey piece?
Guilt and shame and anxiety about the enjoyment of life in its entirety.
Before this, have you ever felt like you can just chill out to chill out?
No.
Oh,
unless I was... No.
I'm so excited for you. This is great.
I mean, can you think? No. Yeah. We asked my husband just now, and he's like, no.
Like week between Christmas and New Year's.
Exactly. But what actually happens is when New Year starts, even though I relax in that week, is I feel bad that I've let all my momentum go in the New Year. I'm like, I had momentum for 51 weeks, and then that 52, I just let it go. And how am I ever going to get it back? Yeah, not not great. So I've been giving myself a lot of grace with that because it's been very hard. But wait, Liz, that little smushy face in Northern California is so great. Wait. I have to interrupt you. This year, we team up with casting networks to get our podcast contract to a new tier, which allows us to make some people SAG-AFTRA eligible, which I'm just so thrilled about. So here is a sneak peek at a future guest, Alyssa Crosland, getting the news. And don't forget to go to castingnetworks.com, Audrey, to get $65 off with promo code Audrey65. So lastly, you're now able to join the union. Congratulations.
Huh? You said what?
Thanks to our sponsorship with Casting Networks, we are falling into a contract tier this year where anyone who comes on is automatically able to join the union.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. Yay. Huzzah.
That's so
and cheers. Also, you get a year of Casting Networks membership.
What the heck? What the heck?
Welcome, Audrey
This is the
Actors.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming and doing this fantastic interview. And just know you already are making so many fans and advocates. You wouldn't be here if that wasn't true.
Oh, no.
And clearly, people are just coming to you and letting you know that they think you're great and great to work with. And that's why you're getting these opportunities. Thanks, Alyssa. Thanks, Casting Networks, for sponsoring this episode. Go to castingnetworks.com and get $65 off with promo code Audrey65. Making dreams come true, being union.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Okay, mildly interesting.
Oh, if you like line dancing.
Yes.
I love a line dance. There is a company called Stud Country, queer friendly. And run in LA. They do club nights.
Nice.
And it's really fun.
Amazing.
It's a very lovely atmosphere. They just move venues, but it's fun to just dance the same thing for 1632 counts over and over again. And everyone's so happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone's just so happy to be there.
That's really great.
Yeah. What about you?
My mildly interesting is really just this understanding about time, and time is a finite system. And that if you're going to say yes to something, you're probably going to have to say no to something else. Or you're going to have to try to do it all. And doing it all means you're going to have to say no to your health or your sanity.
It's a time, energy, money pyramid-y thing.
Love it.
It's time, it's energy, or money. You can't have it all. Hate it. I know.
Liz, thank you for coming, as always.
Thank you for having me. I hope it was mildly interesting.
It is always a delight.
As I stared off into space.
Next week on Audrey Helps Actors, we have Alyssa Crosland. Thanks, Liz. Little neighbor. You guys know Liz and I live pretty close to each other now. It's dangerous. We're far enough away that we can still get things done. So that's helpful. This episode was mixed and mastered by Thomas Snodgrass, produced and edited by Jesse Lumen. Still so handsome. I mean, what is a girl to do? Get fucked, I guess. Show music by Ari De Niro. Theme song by Aalok Mehta and 108 Hill. All right, everyone, don't forget your towel. Thanks again to Casting Networks for your sponsorship, for helping us lift actors like Alyssa to the new level, and for your promo code. Please go to castingnetworks.com/Audrey and get $65 off with promo code Audrey65. Listen, you guys got to share that promo code. You got to share it. Share it. Share it, please. Thank you. Love you. Bye.